Okay, so today again we'll have a quick revision of how to create the via page, printing some static information, static data, apex page block, page block section or items, and we'll also take a look how to display the account records, or let's say not account, on any object. It can be the contact or any custom object. How to display the records using standard controller. Then RecordSetVar means we'll explain about the use of RecordSetVar. So let's go to the org, open the developer console, click on this setting icon. So here we have the developer console. So let's create a via page. So file, new, and Visualforce page. Let's display contact records.
No, Mike.
Please mute
Hello.
yourself. Guys, mute yourself. Okay, so you can display any static information. Let me have a quick look. So display contact records, contact record, and how you can preview it. Click on this preview button. You can say that details are here. Display contact records. Let's add the standard controller because we want to relate it or add the standard controller. Reason is we want to display any object records. So inside the standard controller, that is a keyword, we need to put the object name. Means it can be any object. For example, let me see if we have any custom object, we'll put that name. Or we can even have the account, contact, or any object. I think we have the certain objects here. I have seen the employee here. Let me find out. We have the employee object. Let me see whether we have the record for employees or not. So we have some data, at least two records we have here. So put the standard controller, like the object name, that is the custom object. Previously we had seen by putting the account name. Account is the standard object and employee is the custom object. To identify whether that is standard or the custom object, at the end we have the underscore underscore c in case of custom object or the custom fields, and in case of standard controller we do not have underscore underscore c. Let's create one form, apex form. Inside that, let's create one page block. Inside this page block, display employee information. Here we will be going to display the employee information. Directly we can use, let's say, a name or employee name. Okay, first let's check whether we have this what all fields are there on the object. So these fields are there. We have name, email. We can use these fields, or phone. So I will also put the name and email. Go back to this. Let me add one BR. employee email. So syntax is the expression, that object name which you had put in the standard controller dot field name, API field API name. So so whatever the records you want to display, you need to put the ID. In last session I had taught you how to put the record ID. Let's say, let's pick the Shella, copy this record ID from the URL, go there, end of the page where you have the question word, question mark, put ID equals to that, paste the ID. So here we got the record Shella and this email ID of the Shella. So this is how we can display the records. Now let's say if you want to create the record of any object, you can also create the records. How? Inside the page block we will put page block section, apex page block section. We got this section. Let's put another section, one more section. Employee input form. So to create an input form we can use apex input field. We have the tags input field, this one, and here we can bind this in the value. How we will be going to bind it? We will use the same syntax, this one. You can see we are getting two sections, employee input form and the details. So here we need to put the name. Let me do the same exercise for employee email and phone. If you are not confident to type the API name, please go back to the object, copy the name and paste it here, so that you are making sure there is no mistake. So here you can basically fill out the information. Ravi at gmail.com, some, let's say, phone. Okay, but our challenge is we do not have any button to save the records. When we do not have the button, then how we can save? So to save the record we need to create the button on the page. So go back to that section, it packs page block, we have buttons. In this one we will be going to use this section to create the button, but this cannot be inside any, like your page block buttons cannot be inside the page block section, it will be inside page block. So here we have the syntax to align the button, and that is apex command button, this one. Here you can put the name, value and action. Let's say create employee, and inside the action you need to put the action means save. That is the standard action, it will be going to hit the database automatically. See, we got the details, we got the create employee. Meanwhile let me comment this first section because it's not adding the advantage here, any advantage or any value. So let's have only the input form. Now you can see display employee information. Then we have the button. Okay, a part of that button, we got it. There are two buttons because we have created the page block buttons, means it will be going to add the button before and after the section, means here before this section and after this section, because we are using this page block buttons. If we put this only this button, this command button here outside of this page block section, in that case you will see the difference. We have only one button, we are not having two buttons this time. But if I do the control Z, we have again, so you can see there are two buttons here. Let's put some information here. Let's create. When I'll click on this button, create employee. I will, like, records will be inserted into the database and I will navigate to the detail page of that record, means here we have created this, we have navigated to this page. Now right now we are into the classic, so we are moving to the classic detail page. Let me navigate to the, sorry, we are in the lightning, not in the classic. When we are in the lightning, we have moved to the lightning experience. If we are actually in the classic version or classic experience, and if I create any record, I'll move to the classic only. So this is my form. Here you can see this time we are getting the header and the sidebar. Let's put some name here, and let's create. When I'll click on this create, I will move to the Abhi's detail page, means here this one. This is the detail page. Basically this is the page layout, we call it. Whatever the details we are displaying here, those are displaying on the page layout. We'll discuss on the page layout later on. Okay, but you can see now we have moved to the classic version, classic experience, not into the lightning. Reason was we had switched to the classic. So depending on the actual root version where you are, if you are in the lightning, you will navigate to the lightning. If you are on the classic, you will navigate to the classic. Another is, we had discussed about page block section. Similarly, page block section items, and displaying the records using the standard controller and creating the records using the standard controller. Another important is RecordSetVar. We also call it list controller. You will hear this, like people will be calling it record set controller or the list controller. List controller, why? Because it will return you the collection, means the group of data, multiple data. For example, let's say we are here on the account, and without using this Apex class, your custom controller, I want to display all the records of account. So to achieve this, I will use RecordSetVar. How? Let me show you. Create another page, display accounts, or you can put all accounts. Yes, we have created the page. Here we will use again the RecordSetVar. Inside RecordSetVar, we will put the object name, let's say account. Let's create the form. Let's create any page block. You can put the title here. To display all accounts. And here we will be going to iterate, means it will be going to return all the accounts, so we have to iterate one by one. Means it will return you all the records, but we need to reach like we need to navigate 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like that. So we use apex page block table for that. It will have two mandatory parameters. One is value, another is where. So like where, and this one is mandatory, we really need to pass it. Another important thing is, if you are using the record set where we have to use the standard controller as well, otherwise it won't support. We will create the columns, text column, and we have to put the value. In value, let's say acc dot name, means we want to display the account name or phone or email. We don't have any email field, standard field, but we have, you can see we are displaying the name, it's coming header here. That is one column. If you add more columns, it will automatically adjust the width. How it will adjust the width? Let's say phone, industry, rating. You can see it's automatically going to adjust the uh, width of each column. Let's say if I add more columns. Website, we also have website on the account. We got a website, you can say here. So it will automatically keep adjusting the fields. You don't need to put any efforts for that, so which you can easily notice here. And what we are doing, we are using this standard controller, means you need to put the object name, which objects records you want to display. So we wanted to display all the accounts, we had to put account. In record set where, again you need to put the name. So with the help of this name, we are going to iterate, and here we have used the form. We are creating one like a space into the page. In that page block we are using, means we will have that one block in that page. And with the help of page block table, means it will be going to display our data in the form of row and column, tabular format, row and columns. You can see here it's coming, these are the columns, name, phone, industry, and these are the rows. All rows are there. There should be 15 rows here. So to display the data in the form of row and columns, we are using apex page block table. Inside that, it will have two mandatory parameters. One is value means it will be going to have this parameter, or the list type of parameter, means where you have the multiple records. And this value attribute will be going to assign the records to this variable where one by one. And from that instance of account, because we have these fields on the account, you can see, if you are not 100% sure, go to the object, click on the account, fields and relationship. You can see here we have name, we have here industry, we have phone, we have rating, we also have website. All these fields belong to this object, because here it's returning me the instance of the account, because we are iterating the account records, and we are mapping all the fields here to get the data. So this is how you can use, apply it on any custom object as well. Let's say you wanted to display the employee records. What sort of changes you had to make? Go to the object, search for employee. Here you have to put the object name. You can put employees or anything here, and then you can iterate by this. You can put, let's say, emp, and then field name, we have email, we have phone, like these. you can put those fields to get the data. So similar exercise you can put on in case of custom objects. You need to keep in mind, you need to put the object name, which object you want to iterate, then one name here, and in the table you need to put the same name which you had put in the RecordSetVar, because the return type of this is list, means collection. It will be going to return multiple records. With the help of PageBlock table, you can iterate all the records from that object. So it's simple to use. You'll do some practice, you will be habitual of that, or it will be handy for you. You'll get the confidence on that when you will do hands-on exercise. So that's all for today's session.